Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be watching episodes 5 and 6 of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei. Very excited to be back here on this Tuesday afternoon. So just some housekeeping. This is late again. Or it might be late, I don't know. I could edit very quickly, we'll see. I apologize, especially to the patrons. Those are the people that are kind of really struggling here. Yeah, Monday, Tuesdays are tough. I will consider that in the future if my job stays the same as it currently is. Just, yeah, Monday and Tuesday, there is something that happens every Monday and Tuesday, which, yeah, it's bad. Anyway, without getting into specifics, YouTube comments, that's the best way to start the video. Starting here with Sal, the Ichigo 1000% manga being stacked on Abiru's knees while she is in Caesar is mimicking the punishment/torture method of stacking bricks. Not only are you sitting in an uncomfortable position, but the more you stack, the heavier it obviously feels, and it can be really grueling. And yeah, I too I've seen this places. I'm trying to think of where, maybe... Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it seems like to be a Japanese thing more than anything else. With this particular joke, I don't particularly see this side of it. It could be there. I wouldn't put it past the show, especially that character. They have certain, you know, proclivities. I don't know what the best word is there. Yeah, sure. I think I get the joke of stacking the manga and the manga equals bricks. And basically, again, the joke is that his mind goes to the worst place possible for whatever the dad could be buying in that scene. So yes, Itoshiki continues to be Itoshiki. Yeah, pretty much. And to round us out here, we have two comments from Error Unknown. Oh yeah, this show essentially shaped my preferences when I was a kid, even if I didn't get like 90% of the references. I mean, I still don't get 90% of the references, and I'm supposed to be pretty good at this, so... Again, it is before my time. We know that whole song and dance. We have a little bit of a real-life anecdote about the kind of, if you don't kind of speak for a while, you lose the ability to do so, with Error Unknown saying that they've done that kind of thing. I still don't believe you, but I've never... I'm a serial talk to myself type person, YouTube channel notwithstanding, so I don't think I'll ever have this problem, but I'll take your word for it. It might be hard to speak after a while if you just don't. And the final comment here, when I saw all those panty shots, it kind of ruined the anime for me when I first watched it, but after 15 years of being in this filth, suggestive emoji. It's funny, right? I think you build an immunity, because I'm sitting here like, I'm not like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, next panty shot, can't wait, give it to me now. I'm not that way inclined. But I also just don't mind it. I've kind of just been like, yep, that's what that is. It's on screen. And then I just kind of get on with my day. And again, when you're first starting this kind of stuff, that stuff just completely takes you out of it. You're like, what the fuck is even, what am I watching? And then again, it's just it's a cultural thing, guys. It's a bit different over there. Not saying it's good, not saying it's bad, just different. And that's okay. And either way, we'll leave that there for today. We'll shout at the patrons and give us a little bit of a setup for these next two episodes. So as always, I have a Patreon. It is linked in the description below if you'd like to see episodes 7 and 8, potentially. 1 week early, then they're up there ready to go. $6 a month can get you just that thing. Many people have given me $6 a month, up to and including, or some people even more actually, which is... thank you for that. But yeah, Mickey Babbers, AJ, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Bisa, Bobbin, Capella, Tripper Ribby, Copley, Sinarin, Dapper Dwarf, Darky26, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Fusel, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Hans Peter, Ika, Yaku Yavnen, Jacob R, Jami Boo, Joran, Kasogtha, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nico Lane, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ronlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, The Panda Man, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akumancer, Binchi, Voodoo Chili, Bin Flu, and Leo. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Settings up. Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei. It's a hard one to set up. I think we're still introducing characters, so I'd imagine that we're going to meet some people, Potentially the characters that we half met last week, starting with the H, I remember, Haruka, something like that potentially. Because there was the Fujoshi girl. Is that the same girl? Potentially. And then there was the one that's aggressively normal. So I'm waiting to see if those are the characters that we meet. Potentially there's other characters, I don't know, I've seen... Are we going to do any of the boys? Probably not, it doesn't seem like that kind of show. Are we going to do like Chie in a bit more detail? Probably not. I don't know, there's going to be like scenarios. It's basically a framework for the mangaka to just go off in weird tangents and do whatever he wants, because Komeda's a freak, so... Looking forward to it, I guess. Episode 5 of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei coming right up. Radio, I have episode 5 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 42 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the celery file set. I didn't hear PiP about it last week, so potentially it's better, potentially it's the same, potentially it's worse. I just don't know. Either way, we're using it again. Picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure regardless. Now let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah. I forget the company. But obviously that plays at the start of a lot of movies. It's not TriStar, that's a different one. Anyway, I'm sure I'll look it up. Okay, we're feeling very cinematic here to start, right? Yeah, very much so, okay. I'm recording. Oh, this soundtrack. Everyone is just playing themselves as well. Abe? Alright, trust. Faux pas extraordinaire? I think we're just having fun. Okay. Oh yeah, it's one of these. Like they measure everybody? Yeah, physical examinations. Classic. I'm happy we did both tropes immediately. Oh yeah. The hell are you talking about? Oh, okay. I'd go for it. I think Mataro's a good name good way to remember the name. Also, her face there was quite funny. I enjoyed that. I wonder if that was just a little bit of, you know, fan service to start. Or wonder if we're going to play with the physical examination premise a little bit more. I can also smell the tropes on that. Like, that's... They have to know what they're doing. It, like, literally... It did every single cliche back to back to back. You know, like, weight, boob size. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, don't know why I said that, but we're back. Off to a rollicking good start, of course. Opening's really fun still. It's maybe the most shaft thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I would agree with myself. Still don't know about the whole pregnancy thing. That turns into a waffle. Golden ratio. Anyway. Clang! Okay, no, we're still here. Okay. Get shit on. Whoa! I'm literally gonna murder you? It wasn't that, serious, I didn't think. Are those sandals who I think they... hopefully it's not... Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's Rock! Shout outs. Can't call it that anymore. Come on now. It's like pure and utter nihilism, right? That's essentially what he's talking about. And then he's talking about number crunching or something. Okay. What status? What, mental status? How do you measure such a thing? Ha! Me? Thank you, Sun Tzu. I don't think that was Sun Tzu. So are you going to be the judge? Oh. You're just hanging out still. Good bit. I like the bit. Do I have to sit in this dark room alone with you, sir? Ooh. Like the eyes. Huh? I don't have that kind of money on me at school, man. I'm not... No. What? No, here's what you do. How about them grades, buddy? I'm not giving my teacher money. What a terrible way to... What an evil person. Don't use her cell phone too long. Well, then pay me more money. Very long-necked there. So is it all determined on how much money we give the teacher? What am I looking at? Oh, I see. I don't see how that last example is really... But anyway. Oh, you like it? Oh, no. No, honey, no. What you reading there? Oh no, it's too nice for you. And the material isn't good enough to justify it. Twitter? Okay, thank you. Balenciaga? Is good enough? She got given a bunch of things. What? Who's paying the premiums on that? Oh, okay. She's gone mad with power? Now remember, you inspired this. Yeah, that soundtrack is so good. Why does it matter if it's a celebrity? Now that's just hilarious. Where? What are we talking about? Alright, this sounds like some fucking BS. Bro's playing GTA Online. Oh, yeah. That's a hell of a way to go. I tried to kill myself drinking Dom Perignon. Who the fuck? Oh. He's kind of a player? Oh, yeah. Oh, she would hate that. Oh, Bill. Okay. Yeah. So that actually happened? Confusing. Go to get rid of them toxins? What are you talking about, man? That was just adorable. I liked that. I'd imagine a Ghibli thing. Studio Kumeta. Oh, so you got to go to... Yeah. Thought it would have been. Classic. Now, this should do you some good. I wonder if you're going to run into any colourful characters here. It's a mixed bath. Whoa. It's going to be one of them. Watch it. It's low-key kind of jacked. It's pretty much the worst character that could have been here. Oh, everybody's here? Epic. Oh, no, 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 no. Damn. That's how I bathe as well. I stick my bum up out of the water. Like some absolute freak. Well, yes and no. You could interpret that as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your perspective. Oh, so you're just here too? But as a shut-in? Classic. I don't know, man. Why are you here? Oh my god, it all connects. Emotionally detox? Yeah, sure. HP recovery. Now, why was 4 blocked out? I'd rather keep the toxins. Explain. Oh, okay. She's gone out. She's got. Okay. Oh, it's because she's the fan service character. But it looks like she's ready to go skiing or something. Oh yeah, the Sue thing. Why is he a ghost in the back? Is he astral projecting into the bath? What happened? Yeah. Oh. That was funny. Oh. Yeah, bet. Nah, she's very white. Nah, but they like that or something, right? She looks really weird here. Don't sneeze on me. Put all these teachers on a watch list. That's all I'm trying to say. Well, barely. Okay. Okay, this joke's pretty good. No, she would never do that. I don't think she had any. Because you're the normal one, right? I'm paying attention. What is this? This art style. I like it though. The hair's cool. Smart joke. Oh, you need to go catch them? Ugh. I'm being mind invaded? What is happening? It's true. Oh! Burger. Corn dog. Okay, I don't know about the rabid monkey sounds. Yeah, and everyone's back. Back to the status quo. Oh! Yeah, no distance anymore. Alright. Why does she look so suspicious? I don't trust Chie. Yo. What? Oh yeah. Don't even attempt to. I'd become so well adjusted and normal. I don't think you can. I think his toxicity is too deeply entwined within himself. There was nothing left. His whole being was toxic. What was that behind him? What the fuck? Sure. Where are we? Oh yeah, just about. What is this, like, proclamation? What the fuck? Alright, that feels like a big old reference. Like most things are. Speaking of big old references, I was pretty sure that's like a... I was watching for it. It's kind of there, or maybe it's a stretch on my part. Spirited Away? It's just Spirited Away. Like with the whole, you know, bathhouse, getting rid of the toxins type stuff. At least tangentially. That's why we had the Ghibli parody logo to start. And I was trying to think of timeline. But Spirited Away would almost be around that time. I believe it's a 2004 film. Maybe early in Japan. So yeah, it would have been, you know, pretty much constant. Or not constant. Current is the word I'm looking for. But I mean, what do you want? Funny episodes. A lot of tits and ass in this one in particular. We did both the physical examination trope as well as the onsen stuff. Like, that's crazy. And again, we're like, you know, we're lampshading the entire time, basically. But it's still there. It's still tits and ass. I do like them flipping some of the tropes, like Itoshiki being the one to, like, hide himself and gasp. I thought that was cute. And yeah, we didn't really go for an individualistic kind of character thing. We kind of just let them all still be here. I wonder if they'll get a proper episode. There's the lawsuit as well. Very cool. Sure. Moving swiftly onwards to episode 6. Radio, episode 6, up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 42 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I've got the celery version, should be very similar to other stuff that's out there. The picture version in the description below regardless. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Yes, Maida. 2H. Is this continuing from last episode? Because I could definitely see him. He's a little bit beshadowed, but he's still definitely there. Yeah, you unwell. Oh, summer vacation. Alright. Kafka is unwell. Or Fura, of course. I like just seeing the girls without Atoshiki there, just like caring for each other. I thought that was pretty nice. I think what the show, not missing, but I would like to see more of it, is the dynamic between the different girls. Of course, there is a little bit, especially with, I believe it's Chiri, the student council girl, not student council, class president type. Yeah, she definitely interacts with the other female characters in the show, but the rest of them are kind of just bouncing off Atoshiki a lot of the time. I'd like to see a dynamic form between the characters a bit more. Get some Azumanga Daioh vibes. I'd like that. Dude, Azumanga Daioh, what a show. Holy shit, it's so good. Anyway. Now that's probably like top comedy for me. It's so funny. Can't think of many things that are funnier, genuinely. Like, I've just been getting like clips of that show on my timeline for so long, and I always just watch them. It's crazy. I'm an absolute sucker for it. Indeed. I'd imagine she's progressed to being even further unwell. A summer cold. It's kind of scary. Or... What? No. I don't believe you at all. No, I don't believe you. There's no way, no. Oh, prophetic. I'm sure you'll elaborate on that in time. Okay, so it's another stupid pun name. The Despair Doctor? Well, kinda. Especially in fiction, it does. I forgot why he wasn't even unwell. Yeah. Classic. I don't know about the name calling. Is she actually just better? I think he's become a doctor. It is counterintuitive generally, if you want to go missing, telling people that you're trying to go missing. You really believing that still? Anyway. Yeah, these flashes on screen, they seem to be references of some kind. Like movie posters or something. Okay, so... What? Since when did you like him? Did I miss that? You already went to his home. Oh, you're going to his... Okay. Back home. And that is mirrored for some reason? Hope is like a treasure. Sure, I'll take your word for it. Again, obviously being referential here. Who the hell are the island children? Motherfuckers on Destiny Island? Yeah, I was gonna say. Huh? That's concerning. Oh. Opening soon. I'll be there. Front row seats. Kirikomori. What? Chat room, it's moving too quickly. What is happening? I see what's happening. Shoutouts to the koalas. Wow. Babe, but why is she moving in that direction then? Again, so that's the vibe. It's an excuse to get everybody here. Various reasons indeed, yes. He has an evil butler? It's pretty good. I liked that. Just calling the first butler you see Sebastian is insane, by the way. Okay, so he's like a local rich. Something about an arranged marriage? Thoughts, chat? They'll probably deport you? Oh, he's here. Unless this is another mysterious brother. The colors are great, by the way. You look fine, man. Slacks and a t-shirt? You're more well dressed than I am. I'm actually wearing nothing below here, really. I'm like Yogi Bear or Winnie the Pooh when I record. Ooh. All the girls needed to go on a local diet before. Hey man, it seems like the brother was actually real. I guess I never really even considered that it'd be real for even a second. Oh. Thank you for doing the exposition too. Immediately clocking the voice actor too. Need to look that one up. Okay, these fuckers are playing. Why are they playing Survivor or something? Oh, it's an ad. Okay. Yeah, bet. Oh yeah, Despair Pharmaceuticals. Oh. Well, we need to block his eyes then. She'll get it. Oh, good. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's really, really good. Yeah, what are all these posters? I need to. Obviously, I'll find out in the after portions. Scary again. I don't like scary. He's gonna become married to some fucking bullshit character or something. Can Abiru even get engaged? She only really has one eye. Oh. Yeah, but they summoned me. What? He. Alright, what are the comedic possibilities? He gets married to like an animal, he gets married to his sister, he gets married to. Where are we going with this? I'm in despair? Well, because you're the fan service character. Oh, James Bond. Why are you doing a Bond intro? Yeah, bet. Okay. Okay. We wait with bated breath. I don't think I will. So never look anybody in the eye. She's so scary too. Oh, okay, that's great. This is really fun. Sure. I mean, she would probably know who that is based on... Anyway. I do like the sports nature of this. I think that's quite funny. So again, get married to a painting, get married to the butler himself. I'm waiting to see where we go here. Get married to Maida. Of course. Oh! Kirikomori. Ooh! The lack of escape routes has filled me with despair. Okay, we got his ass. Go, go, go. What were those silhouettes? I'm getting shonen vibes, right? Like the sportification of it, and like that kind of like, oh, you shouldn't have gone there. That's bad. Like, yeah. Okay, and yeah, they know what they're doing here. This guy just wants to get married, do you? They most certainly are. Because they're looking for a fight. Look at this guy saying fucking Yakuza dialogue. Does that mean that they have to get married, or...? Oh! Oh, congratulations to the happy couple. My name's not fucking Sebastian. What are you trying to do, man? The sister? Alright, no, he fucking got your ass. The Child of 100 Eyes, of course. Well, looks like he got married to the Eldritch Abomination. Correct. Very well done. I'm trying. Okay. I can't say I saw that coming. Chiri will grow a third eye in this episode. Alright, he became engaged to the horrific monster. Was it? Oh. What's wrong with that? It's 2025. Oh, she finally got here. I like her bit. Her bit's quite good. Bro peeped the horror? Ooh. What? What am I meant to take from that at all? Did her ass sneak down and turn into a monster? Maybe. Maybe we're doing something funny with you can't avoid eye contact with the fan service. That's pretty good. That's good gear. I mean, this episode in itself was a fucking big cul-de-sac, but it was a fun one. I got a little bit of lore. We introduced some sibling characters for Itoshiki, and that he's from Money, which could be interesting going forward. Again, I'll elaborate on what I was talking about last week a little bit, which I thought that maybe he had a previous relationship that didn't go well for reasons. But now that we're talking about arranged marriages and him not wanting to do eye contact or something, that seems less likely, but we'll see. You forget that the lead-in of this episode was that Furura was unwell. I like how she just, got over it. That's very funny. And yeah, he just said, oh, I'm going missing. Bye. That's pretty good gear. Yes. Okay, fantastic. Sure, I recognize this art style. And yeah, I'll return a little bit later for some analysis on those two episodes. But again, two broadly pretty fun ones. A little bit horny, but fun. I had a good time again. And we're back. It's a little bit later on. That was 2 more episodes of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei. I mean, you saw the reaction. You saw what they were. They were just kind of a bunch of bullshit again. I don't know what to say. So again, peeling back the curtain here, for a lot of these kind of sessions, for a lot of my videos, really, I try to find a trend in the video, in the episodes to talk about, to frame a discussion, to create a thesis statement. Like I'm analyzing something, right? Create the line by which I'm going to make my argument, and then from there you'll provide examples to show off your argument. And then by the very end, you provide a conclusion, potentially what they could do better. It's like a review. That's why I call it a review, analysis/review. I find it very hard to do that with this show. I really do. Just in how scattershot and random it is, in my opinion. And again, I think I'm starting to like it as a decision, big picture wise. I mean, like, I think ultimately in a show that's so much about view of the world and philosophy and name checks philosophers and a bunch of stuff, just kind of having a show that almost resists analysis in that way and kind of is just a stream of consciousness, whatever the hell, you know, just a bunch of stuff. I think that in itself is powerful in a weird way. I like life is kind of a bunch of bullshit and it's just whatever happens happens. It almost resists storytelling in a cool way. And again, I don't know if I'm giving it too much credit, but I kind of see it. I kind of see the vision, I guess, the larger scope for what we're doing big picture wise with this show. But stepping out of big picture mode and into little picture mode, into the moment to moment of the show, I think it is increasingly succeeding. I think it's funny pretty consistently and, you know, makes me chuckle, makes me laugh. The scenarios are pretty interesting. People making this show, both mangaka and studio, have clearly seen a lot of anime and know the tropes and know all that kind of stuff and are applying them well, with a wink and a nudge along the way as well, for good measure. I've also done my required reading. I didn't see anything super relevant. I'll try to bring them up as I see them. Kind of clarified a few of the real head scratches that I had, but again, we'll see. As always, they're very 2007, the references, and they're very Japanese. Again, we know that. Let's dive through here. I'm a little bit short on time, of course, as well, so again, I'll shout some stuff out as I see it. But yeah, really enjoying the show as we continue. I feel like it's finding its groove, as I always say. So it's weird we have this here, because this is the Columbia Pictures starting little logo animation thing, and we're referencing it here for reasons when the next episode is the one that does like a bunch of movie poster pastiches and parodies and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know. Clearly one of the things we keep going back to the well on is Hollywood movie stuff. We'll shout out the ones next episode as we see them. Of course, there was also another baseball reference I thought as well, kind of following on from last week where I said, is he into baseball? It seems like there's a lot of baseball stuff. My mind is wandering to what a modern day kind of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei would even look like, and its kind of mix of references and stuff and whatnot. I feel like the culture, for lack of a better term, is so much bigger now and so much broader that it's a lot harder to do. And again, you're not guaranteed that your audience is going to have seen everything and know everything because there just is so much stuff now. Yeah, I guess your closest analog would maybe be something like a Pop Team Epic? Maybe? But even then, it's a little bit more towards the farcical end than this is, I would say. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I wonder if there is a better analog there. So, forgive the video quality, I don't know what's going on there. There we go. These opening credits are odd. We introduce the characters as their own names, and then we introduce Abe-san and Koike-san, which I believe were politicians at the time. And then these were other politicians that were kind of shady. Faux pas extraordinaire. And Mr. Akagi as Band-Aid. Now, this one had a story by which this politician something money... And he showed up with bandages on his face one day, inexplicably. And people think that... Well, people think a lot of things because it was never really explained. Yeah, if a very important politician is being weird about money and then shows up beaten up, like, it's raising red flags. We start episode 5 here with some physical examinations. We play the physical examination anime playbook. There's a lot of boob joke. There's a lot of weight gain joke. It is very much playing in that space, and it knows it. One thing that I find disappointing about this show sometimes is how much the characters are interchangeable. So we do this joke here with, I believe this is Tsunetsuki and Harumi, I believe. And I think you could have done this joke with the boobs and the weight gain and the whatever with anybody. Like, It could have been anybody. It could have been anybody that did this. Also noticed here that this is like Maria's foot that we're putting on the scale as well to make her look heavier or seem heavier, so funny, I guess. But I think, yeah, attaching these jokes in with their personalities more, which we do through a lot of the rest of the show, leads to better comedy, I feel. It's like, you know, this joke was written for this character. It can't just be anybody, you know? And this is Chie, right? Why is Chie getting a physical examination? She's not a student, she's an employee. They can't do this. Please help. I know the reason. It's fan service. And I wasn't born yesterday. Look at this little creeper in the corner too. Get out of here, freak. So this was an important one I discovered while researching as well. So we can't call Maria Mataro, even though that would be like a fun kind of conjunction of the name there, because then she would share the same name as a character in a manga that's kind of fucked up, I believe. Apparently it's about a kid that gets revenge on his harassers. And yeah, probably the furthest thing from Maria as a character that you could probably get. So sure, there's the reference, everybody. I believe the silhouette looks like the character too. Fucking Sideshow Bob had us too. Look at this fucking guy. Yeah, crazy. I really feel like this is a weird start to the episode. It kind of doesn't go anywhere. It cul-de-sacs in a weird way and then turns into just Itoshiki in general talking about the despair of numbers and comparison based on numbers and whatnot. And again, it's a framing device for him to go into a whole bunch of random bullshit like he does. I just feel like, again, you set up a premise like this, you use it a little bit more. I don't know. You could argue that the show's being subversive in doing so as well. It's breaking the mold from a general kind of, you know, slice of life high school show where episodes will be very kind of rigid and kind of segmented and stuff and really just do one thing to the nth degree. You'll see the similar thing next episode, right? Where it starts off, it looks like we're going to do a Fura is sick thing, but as it turns out, she goes to a doctor. That doctor looks a lot like Itoshiki, and then that spins off to an Itoshiki at-home story. It kind of goes off the rails in a cool way. Like, yeah, so you could argue they're doing a similar thing here as well. So yes, Itoshiki comes in and does the whole despair shtick. You shouldn't focus on your physical outward appearance because your physical body will eventually crumble. You'll be cremated and your ashes scattered from atop Ayers Rock. Now, I believe this is a reference to a novel of some kind where somebody dies of leukemia and they scatter the ashes at Ayers Rock for reasons. Now, for the uninitiated, Ayers Rock, also known as Uluru, is in the direct center of Australia. It's near Alice Springs. It's a heritage site now. I believe you cannot climb it. Bad. Don't do that. Really, really weird reference. Like, I thought only we knew about that. How did you guys know about that? And yeah, from here, you can kind of follow, because life is fleeting. You shouldn't focus on, you know, the numbers behind everything as well, right? Again, physical examinations, you know, your 3 sizes and your weight and your whatnot. Don't focus on any of that stuff, including number of copies sold of the manga. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. None of that shit matters. We should return to soil or something, whatever he says. Herein lies the comedy, chat, right? Because now we're going to commence an examination of your status, right? And from the framing of the conversation, it seems like it's going to be like, let's have a deep look into your soul and see what you're really like, right? Let me examine you and give you an examination of that side of it, right? A way more kind of spiritual, kind of artsy look at a person, which could be an interesting thing to do. Maybe like a, you know, fortune telling but with extra steps or something. But as it turns out, this is just the Toshiki's way of coercing his students into giving him money. Which is the exact antithesis of what he was talking about, letting numbers define people. That's exactly what he does through the segment. We also clarify here the idea of status when examining one's status, right? It's kind of like, are you worthy enough to do this? Is this a good thing to do based on where you are in life, right? Let's call it a mismatch in priorities. So this guy's got a huge 60-inch plasma in a 6-tatami room. Not very big space. You should probably spend money on, you know, a bed, a table, something to cook food, rather than a massive TV. That's kind of the example of what we're trying to talk about here. Here's another example. A biometric cash card, right? When you have 5,000 yen in your account. Basically $50. So why go to that length of security to protect $50? Like, that's... You shouldn't do that. It's a waste of resources. You are living beyond your status. We go through a lot of examples here as well. Amateur baseball at the Tokyo Dome. Amateur baseball would be expensive if you were in such a stadium, right? Colleges who have an acceptance range of 40. So this one's weird. It's like the grading system. This would be your like standard deviation, I believe. And so if you're applying to a college that has a range of 40, that's not very big, I believe. So you may be living outside of your means, applying to a college you're probably not going to get into. Something like that, maybe. Bullet train service in that place. I believe this one's tied to a real life story as well, where Japanese citizens get mad when they put bullet trains in places that are very rural and not used. They see it as a waste of resources, which is fair enough. I think something like that was happening in around 2007. And yeah, this is the baseball reference I was talking about. It's like, there must be something going on there with Kometa, right? He must like baseball. Holding the Olympics in a country where 90% of all executions occur. I'm going to imagine China, considering the 2008 Beijing Olympics, which, you know, there is some stories from that Olympics. Maybe not as bad as some other major sporting events as of recently, but still pretty bad. Now, this one's really fun, and I wish we could have found a way to adapt this for the anime a little bit better. So, in the manga for Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei, when he says, use a 2-page spread in a 12-page manga, he literally does that. So he uses a big 2-page spread for literally this one joke. Do you understand? Like, it would come up and it would literally look like this, and it would just be a Toshiki saying, this is a waste of space. See, it's a fun meta joke, right? Kometa himself was living beyond his means. He needed to get the rest of the story out in 10 pages instead of the allotted 12, because he wasted 2 on bullshit. I don't know how you adapt that to anime in a cooler way. Maybe you put all the budget of, like, the animation into animating Itoshiki looking really cool while saying something like that. Like, putting all your animation budget into one scene and then making it look fantastic. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, again, I'm trying to think of the equivalent there. Let me know if you think of a better one. So yeah, each of the students is interviewed by Itoshiki one by one. We have this random male student come in and he's the guinea pig, right? Could you lend me 10,000 yen? Essentially $100. He's asking his students for money. Commence a major back and forth where he kind of asks his way down to the point where this kid would be okay with giving him money, right? You know, 2,000 yen. How about 1,000 yen? How about just 100 yen or 500 yen? How about 50 yen? And he's finally relenting. He's finally happy to give him that amount of money. Herein lies the comedy, right? He is ascribing a monetary value, a number to somebody's worth, such as what's in their bank account, such as their physical weight, or their 3 sizes, or anything else that he just had a big whinge about. He's doing the exact thing, the ills of society that he warned us about. He started off sounding like this kind of nihilistic kind of guy that like had kind of given up hope on physical material things, knowing that they're ultimately fleeting, right? There is a free nature to that, and he's just rejecting it all, basically for a little bit of money. Quite funny. Chuckle-inducing, I would say. And yeah, of course, like most weeks, I'm going to miss out on shouting at the excellent shaftness of it all, right? What was the decision behind this background? Who knows? Looks awesome, though. The colors are great. Love the silhouetting. It's just good. I like this frame of him with a long neck as well. I think that's quite swell. But we basically go through here and call him cheap in as many words, where it's like, hey, you're a cheapskate. You should have given me more money as your teacher. What? Flipping back to class here, we see that this student's desk has now been replaced with a tiny desk for babies, befitting of his status. That student, I believe he has a name as well, I do not remember it, but this prompts the further discussion of the next portion of the episode, which is about kind of living beyond your means, so to say. Character designs aside. You shouldn't live beyond your means like all these people that do sometimes, right? The best example here would be, the Ferrari at the front of your one-bedroom apartment. Like, hey, if your status is only 50 yen, then you don't get a big desk. Hey, if your status is only a one-bedroom apartment, you shouldn't get to have a Ferrari. And now in thinking about it, Chiri identifying with this is perfect. Like, she's somebody that really likes everything matching, all her ducks in a little row, right? People's status should match what they have. There shouldn't be any mismatches, right? Of course Chiri would not like that kind of stuff. And yeah, commence her being pretty authoritarian through the next portion here, whereby she essentially tells people to live within their status and takes things off of them and beats them up and does a whole bunch of stuff. Now, chat room. There is a massive backstory behind this book that she is holding right here. So I believe this says Zetsubou Sensei, right? And Sensei is like something you'd call like a bad teacher, something like that, right? Now, you may have noticed, but Koji Kumeta throws a lot of shade at Ken Akamatsu for Negima, right? His manga, right? It's one of the things that we've referenced the most over this first portion of the show, I would say. And this is Akamatsu swinging back, in a way. He made this in real life, which was essentially a adults-only doujin of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei that was kind of fucked and weird. This is the show, and by proxy, Kometa throwing back, where it's like, this material doesn't warrant all this extra bullshit. He essentially calls this manga bullshit. He doesn't like it. It's just some nonsense. And of course, Harumi has it because she likes horny manga. Point being, hey, don't glam up this piece of shit. Don't give it all the bells and whistles. It's not worth it. Insane lore for one joke. Which, I liked the lore there. I think that's cool. And for the record, Akamatsu and Kometa seem like they're actually on pretty good terms, so I don't know, playing up the fake beef, we like to see it. Next off, we have Chiri going after Meru, who has a mail service that is too onerous, whereby she should move back to the 2005 service, which was only 70 characters, as opposed to the 1000. You are living beyond your means, of course. Another two other anecdotes we fly through there. I believe it's, oh my god, what's her name? Nami? Something like that. Her joke is something to do with a handbag. It's like Louis Vuitton or something. I don't know. Maria's joke is more interesting, whereby there's a massive life insurance premium put on her, or payout. I don't know what you'd call it. What's a premium? Who even knows anymore? And it's not in her name. Somebody's done a big scam, and if Maria dies, somebody gets a huge payout of money. What? And we're just law dropping that, then leaving it. And of course, like, Chiri's not consistent. That's one of my favorite kind of aspects of her character, where we can see that something's like fucked up and weird, and then she's like, no, that's all above board, that's fine. And she doesn't hone in on the real problems. She's like, no, that works, it's perfectly, cromulent. And then, no, it's not. Now, this must be reference to some kind of older Japanese proverb or something akin to a person only needs a tatami mat and a half, or half a tatami mat or something. Like, you should only live in a space that's this big for you. I bring it up because I feel like we're referencing a similar thing with Tatami Galaxy, where, a person's in this very small tatami room, and we're kind of using that as a larger metaphor for college in general, and your life and your means. Again, I need to rewatch that show. I'm probably due a rewatch on it, actually. But yeah, I feel like there was a similar connection there. Visually, this reminds me of End of Evangelion, either TV anime where they're all standing on top of the world, or color-wise movie End of Evangelion with the purples and the reds and whatnot. After Itoshiki Sensei almost gets his legs chopped off for living too exorbitantly, because his legs were draping over the side of the tatami, he decides that he'll go the whole other way. He will just move completely in the other direction, having been convinced by Chiri that his initial idea was incorrect. I'll die an exorbitant death, far exceeding my status. A celebrity's death, he says, and exorbitant in all the way that celebrity deaths are. And then it's weird, Furuta kind of points at something. I believe this is a real-life building in Roppongi. or something. I don't know, I was reading the cheat sheet there before. Oh, okay, the framing device is that Fura is talking about this, and then Itoshiki decides it's a great idea and goes through with it, right? And that's why we see the next day and him trying to drown in the Dom Perignon and whatnot. That's pretty good. Like, he actually listened to Fura for once and it led to some bullshit occurring. That's pretty good. Almost as good as this license plate as well. Zetsubou. Zetsubou. You can kind of see it a little bit, I think. So again, I thought that this was like a dream sequence or something, but no, he's kind of actually doing this. He rented this really expensive apartment for one night and this really expensive woman for one night before drowning himself in a bottle of Dom Perignon. Even now with the little penguins on it. Are we sure that fucking that hack Ikuhara didn't watch this show and steal this conceit? Maybe. Fucking Ikuhara, we hate that guy. The next day happens, he isn't dead, he didn't have enough Dom Perignon in the bowl to drown himself, so he still attempted suicide, he just couldn't do it. And in the end, he was ultimately saved by his cheap nature. He couldn't make it all the way through with living that exorbitant lifestyle and having that exorbitant death. His old self came back through in a weird way, which you can read into if you wanted to. And yeah, that woman from the night before, it's pretty clear that she's some kind of lady of the night that is quite expensive and hands him a bill. Do like that one frame there of Sinetsky. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, no, I have more competition. That's pretty good. Next segment is called Removing Toxins and Strains. Yeah, we're going to go to the bathhouse, baby. Now, I was correct. This starting little intro here, as well as obviously this one here, is a pretty clear reference to Studio Ghibli. The first one was a little bit more the Disney side of Studio Ghibli, which is pretty cool. You also notice here that it has a red tint, right? More than your normal kind of Ghibli colors. It goes from that kind of blue to a bit more of a purple. There was a controversy around one of the initial DVDs of Spirited Away in Japan. It kind of had a red tint to it, and people kind of blame Disney for it, so that's kind of referencing that whole fiasco as well by kind of tinting the whole thing red. Again, very inside baseball type stuff. Lovely subwork here as well. Love the font thing here. I think that's pretty swell. But yeah, I was right. We're referencing Ghibli and Disney and Ghibli and blah, 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 because Spirited Away. That's kind of what we're getting at through this whole segment, which is pretty cool. I believe one of the first signs here, one of these, if I could read Japanese, I'd be able to tell you, but something Chihiro Tosen or something, so again, it's probably there somewhere. All I see is stupid Maida, always looking very constipated, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, you could see where this segment's going immediately. It's a show where it started with a bunch of girls in bloomers and not much clothes and stuff. It's a show starring mostly women. And there's a bathhouse. You see where we're going with this, right? Pretty clearly. And lo and behold, there they are. We have the women's side over here, the men's side over here, and the wall comes tumbling down. And there's a couple fun fourth wall-y things we do here. One, we have the girls over here that aren't all that uncomfortable about being seen by Itoshiki. We have Fura here doing a Lucky Star reference, I believe, because they have Lucky Channel over there, so sure, I can't really put A and B together as to why, but it exists. And the other side of it being Itoshiki the one to grab at his chest and go, yeah, or something like that, right? That's very fun. You would expect it the other way around very often in your ecchi type manga. Very, very smart. Very smart. Do I have to talk about the elephant in the room in general? Which, no, I've kind of already talked about it, and it's fine as long as it doesn't go the other way. Let me explain. All the girls have a crush on the teacher. Like, they're like, I wouldn't mind being seen if it's by you, Sensei. It's like, it's my bad touch vibe. It's like, you need Jesus, get away from me. But again, the kids have crushes on their teachers all the time. That's fine. When it goes the other way, that's when it gets into no territory. That's when it's bad. So as long as it maintains this, then we're fine, I think. Now, this joke's weird, I like it in concept, but we have Kirikomori here who is also bathing at school at the same time. So, you're doing a bathhouse episode, which means you need to be away from school, right? Pretty obviously. But you have a character that's a shut-in that never leaves school now. They've kind of moved their hermit crab location from one location to the next. How do you make that happen? Especially when you want to do fan service of said character. The answer is just make them bathe on their own and make Chie-sensei randomly at school during that time, so we can at least have a character to bounce off of. I think that's pretty neat. I think that's a good way to solve that problem. Other than that, it's kind of nothing. The two characters just kind of fond to each other for a bit. It's kind of whatever. But I should shout out the best meta aspect of this chapter, this segment, I guess, is the idea of the detoxification, right? And that detoxification taking away all the bad parts of one person, making them, normal, regular. Applying that to a comedy anime where all the characters are quite stereotypical and have their kind of one joke, it allows you to take that one joke away from them or subvert it. And that's fun. You apply that to all the characters and you can get some new, unique jokes out of them, which is, again, very, very fun. It's fun to see what detoxifying one of these characters even means. And of course, kind of coalesces by the very end by them detoxifying Itoshiki and him no longer existing because he is all pure toxicity. I think that's pretty good. There's also this part here where Kaire, where we were going to do like a fan service bit, but she's wearing a wetsuit. Maybe that's part of the detoxification, is her actually covering up when we were expecting, I don't know what we were expecting, probably nudity with a lot of the detail taken out. But no, she's just in this wetsuit. Oh yeah, this is the detox, right? Normally she would sue somebody in such a case, right, after slipping on the rocks. But she didn't. She just asked for a band-aid and went on with her day. It's like, oh, she's like a different person because of what happened in the water. Next one here is Meru, who doesn't send toxic messages anymore. It's just like, oh yeah, normal text message. I wondered if we were going to play with this a little bit more. Taking away a character's toxic aspects makes them way more normal, and in that way also boring. Like we could say, oh yeah, you kind of need toxicity to create the content, to create the comedy. And the show would have been boring without that. Maybe we're playing with that idea a little bit, but yeah, it's neither here nor there. The Sinetsuki version is just maintaining a normal distance between her and Itoshiki, something that she relents on later. Rapid fire now for the other jokes. We have Hirumi that thinks Koppo-chan or Koppa-chan is good, where normally she would be into that dirty sex shit, where Koppa-chan isn't that. I think we have Maria, who's like talking normally. I think that's the joke there. That one kind of went over my head. This one's very funny. Chiri not wanting to split down to the very cent with somebody on a split payment, where normally should be very officially King Solomon style, just fucking split it down the middle. She kind of, loosens up a little bit. I think that's a good joke. Now remember this part here where I said it looked like a reference? It was another reference to Negima, right? It's the art style change. That's what it's meant to denote as well. And the throwing shade that the dialogue sounds kind of unnatural for high school students to be saying, or middle school students. Like, I think that's shade. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, leave it. Point being that everybody's not acting like they should, and we need to introduce some more toxicity into their lives so they can be back to normal. So yeah, Itoshiki's at his wit's end with the changes that the girls have made, and goes back out to the bath to fetch the toxins back to give them back to them, which is very strange. Using the example of Akihabara here to explain the detoxification, that you kind of need that toxicity it's what gives Akihabara its charm, in a way, right? So it differentiates it. Kind of apply that to a human, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about there as well. Ton of references on this page. Can't really go into all of them, but again, the one I spotted here was Akira. That's a fun one, right? It's kind of highlighted in red, which is a very Akira color as well. Very cool. In the end, we end up getting the toxicity back into them with processed food. bunch of American type shit. I don't know, man. This looks pretty good to me. And yeah, rapid fire. Everybody's back to normal doing their old toxic stuff after eating the junk food. Very funny. And yeah, as I said, we end the segment with them detoxifying Itoshiki, and he disintegrates in nothingness and he dies. The other weird one was this lady that appears behind him. That's just like some TV host. She also shows up next episode too, so... I don't know, man. Very, very Japanese. Either way, episode 6 now starts with the whole your teacher's going missing conceit, which that's not how people go missing, but anyway. There's also the general setup in that opening scene of Fura being unwell, having a bit of a cough. Again, as I said before, we kind of subvert this in a cool way of it. She kind of just gets over it when she finds something more interesting. It's just like, oh, I'm fixed, okay. Again, very, very befitting of her character that always looks on the bright side of everything, right? As we could see here, she is entering Itoshiki Clinic as well, which may be some indicators for later stuff. Again, another great example of Fura's kind of psychology, I guess you would say, is she notices that nobody's at this particular doctor, and instead of thinking, maybe this doctor's a bit of a quack, or at least has a bit of a weird name, she goes, nah, everyone must be healthy today. Isn't that nice? Can tell you as somebody that at least knows a lot of people that work in medical fields. There's never an easy day, man. It's always fucking people in there. I do appreciate the translator's note, everybody. Sensei is used to address both teachers and doctors. That's kind of the fun little pun we're playing with in this scene, because she's like, oh, Sensei. It's like, yes, because I'm a doctor. It's like, no, I mean my teacher who looks exactly like you. Looking at it now, his hair is different. I wonder if this brother character will come back some more, because obviously they're sharing the same VA, so I don't know, man. Yes, this episode is punctuated with a bunch of eye catchers for various movies. Some of them are Japanese, some of them are Western. I'll shout out the two that I recognized, which was there was a couple of Kill Bill ones, and there was the Peter Jackson 2005 King Kong. So, I don't know. Weird references, but probably a little bit more relevant at the time. So I believe we're doing a pun here again. Itoshiki Mikoto, which much like Nozomu, Itoshiki Nozomu, which I believe is Itoshiki Sensei's name, you can kind of read it one way and it becomes despair. This one becomes death. So probably not a great name to have if you're a doctor. Let's say Zetsubou Sensei, and then we do the same joke here with kind of separating the kanji in a weird way. Like, same joke as Itoshiki Sensei in the first episode, basically. And he seems pretty despair-pilled as well, bashing his head against the wall, cursing his name, saying it's the reason why he doesn't get any patients. And yeah, as I said, kind of all those shenanigans with Zetsubou Sensei over here made Fura completely fine. She completely recovered from the disease. Here is the aforementioned King Kong. I do not know how this relates to the previous scene or the scene after it. I do not know what relates these films being chosen. Sure, go off, I guess. After that doctor's visit, we meet up with Chiri. Chiri has visited Itoshiki's house, and he has also left a note that says, I've gone missing, which again is counterintuitive, as we've said. Fura kind of hand waves it and says he's probably just gone back to his, old family town where he grew up and that kind of stuff. As it turns out, she's exactly correct. She keeps doing this, man. Oh yeah, here's that same lady, by the way. The same lady that was acting as a stand for Itoshiki last episode. Weird stuff. Anyway, we go back to the doc, because the doc can tell us where his younger brother is, right? Give some confirmation there. And yeah, Nozomu went back home for an arranged marriage interview, of course. Which, again, is going to shock everybody. Oh my god. Arranged marriage when I have a crush on Sensei. Oh no. Now, I never thought that Chiri was one of the ones that had such a big crush, but go off, I guess. Now, I was looking for some more straightforward information on whatever we're referencing here with this. I can think of a number of things it reminds me of. It reminds me of a lot of story setups around somebody returning home and childhood friends and blah, 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 blah. Weirdly enough, similar vibes, especially with the island to Summertime Rendering in a lot of ways. Just kind of like returning back and this kind of stuff, I would say, right? There's also some implied scary stuff going on here as well. I don't know, it just feels very stereotypical anime homecoming, and my notes didn't really have a direct reference for it, so maybe there isn't one, I don't know. This is the epic human drama about the lives of the teacher and his 3.1 students. Yeah, it's just like an ad, but he just returned back home. There's a lot of mentions of the word hope, so obviously opposite of despair, so I don't know, freaking me out. Oh, commencing one of my favorite segments of the episode. I loved the moment where I realized what was going on here. So, essentially we have, you wouldn't call it a bottle episode, but kind of, right? Where we're kind of taking the characters away and putting them in one location. And normally that would isolate people, right? It would just be Chiri and Fura and Itoshiki, right? Instead, by weird happenstance and creative kind of means, we have every single character in the show kind of, what's the word? Beckoning upon this town all at the same time. That's just fantastic. It's, it's very aware that it's a show that has an eclectic cast that needs to be everywhere all the time, and it kind of inventing stupid ways for the characters to just get where they need to go to make it make sense is great. I love how each of the ways they get there is related to their characters, right? So we have Kiri Komori, who's just kind of part of the furniture. She just goes along with kind of removalists coming in and moving some shit. We have Meru here kind of looking for phone service in a weird way. And then as soon as she finds phone service, she's already on the way. We have Maria picking up fruit, which is stupid. We have Abiru chasing a tail in a zoo van, and then we just have we're nearby and there's some fan service for Kaire. Just so creative. It's just like, just come up with the stupidest thing possible to get them where they need to go, Really isn't a lot to talk about this episode, right? It just kind of happens. I don't know. Turns out Itoshiki Sensei's family's super rich, and they're pretty well known back in the kind of back in his hometown, back in that area. They're kind of small town rich, Funny joke here where Fura just calls any kind of butler she sees Sebastian. Now this is a long-standing trope. Put on screen the little anecdote that I read, but yeah, that's the reason why they're using that name. But I've heard it plenty of places. It seems like Sebastian is just like a butler name. We do finally catch up with Itoshiki Sensei, and he's out of his normal kind of garb. Out of his normal traditional Japanese dress. And Shiri is horrified, right? It's one of the major reasons why she liked him, from my memory, is that the way he dressed was very proper and so forth. Seeing him kind of slobbered out in a t-shirt and jeans just isn't really doing it for her. But I think it's nice to see a difference in his personality, especially once he comes back home, just kind of loosening up a little bit. I think that's pretty good. Oh, I've noticed the character we're using in a lot of these as well. We're consistently using Itoshiki Sensei's sister, who did have a name. We meet her in the next scene, so I'll grab it then. But yeah, that's why we're doing the movie posters, I guess. Now, we also reference here that there is more brothers, or at least more siblings, because we look here, Anishi, but I would imagine this X here implies that they passed away. We have the brother, obviously, and we have Kei over here, who's the sister. So he has 3 older children, or 3 older siblings, I should say, and 1 younger sibling. He is the... That's a terrible spot to be. So yes, he has his younger sister. That would be Rin-sama, of course. So just Rin. Rin's nice and easy to remember, and it's important to note that she's also the same age as all the other kids. Could be a way to get her involved later in the show, would be making her go to the same school. That could be a direction, I guess. Yeah, all this kind of kanji wordplay stuff as well is making me think a lot of Katanagatari. I feel like we saw a lot of this kind of stuff in Katanagatari. Like, again, writing out the name and then it meaning something else. I mean, compared to, the Death Doctor and the Despair Teacher, Peerless Sensei sounds actually pretty good. But she doesn't like that. She has a hatred of puns, apparently. Especially that specific one makes her want to get the sword and be violent with the children. So yeah, I'm absolutely sure that Rin character is going to be in the show a little bit later on. one to watch. She seems like a real fucking hothead. I feel like the episode gets a little bit bogged down here with the exposition side of things. And they kind of need to because the exposition's really stupid. Essentially, it's an arranged marriage situation for Itoshiki. It's only when the ceremony starts and he locks eyes with somebody that they get into an arranged marriage. That's the setup. We're just going to find the best way to avoid eye contact with somebody. That's going to be majority of the jokes through this point. And again, you probably need to front load the exposition here to make the jokes make sense later on. One of the jokes I really do like, however, is this one for Nami, of course, who is very normal. And instead of the extravagant, characterful ways that every other character got to this location, she's stuck taking the train like normal. And it's just so regular. It's very, very good. It is a show that's so off the walls and fucking crazy. Just having this one character that's just like normal in the middle of it is very good. So the secret is revealed. Itoshiki Sensei ran away because he didn't want to do such an arranged marriage. Why didn't he just stay away? That's another can of worms, but we needed the plot to happen, so sure. And again, that's why he wanted to go missing, and that's why he was eventually found by the butler, and blah, 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 blah. Cool. Why are we all in kimonos? Why are we also part of the ceremony? That's when it gets a little bit odd. So they're all dressed up because they're taking part in the ceremony. As we learn, everybody's in the ceremony. And everybody means everybody. If you're on this premises, you are in the ceremony. That made my mind race. I'm like, what the fuck joke are we going to go for here? As it turns out, we did something with an eldritch horror abomination of eyes that also happened to be a pair of panties or something. Odd. But I was seeing the sister character in here. I was seeing some random animal or something. I saw a lot of things in my head once I learned of this. Maybe that's part of the joke as well. Let me skip ahead, actually. Are you present in the scene when they're doing that bit? Yeah, no, you're here, so it can't be your asshole on camera. Okay. Did your panties grab a mind of their own or something? I don't know. It's because she has a short kimono as well, so I'm kind of like, is that involved? So I thought this was a Bond intro. I thought it was maybe something with the music as well, but my notes said it's a reference to a Japanese TV station thing. Again, the Bond reference wouldn't have made any sense here, so I'm happy that it means something else. But it means I don't get the reference. The ceremony begins, of course, and we have like a judge in the back here at some point who's like calling safe or not safe or whatnot. Kind of see him there. I said it gave this scene a very shonen anime kind of vibe, like a sports show, whereby, you know, there's a judge and there's conditions and there's, you know, there's like intrigue and there's that kind of character that says don't go in there, it's even more dangerous in there, there's people that you can't even dream of avoiding in there. Again, it's that classic technique to make you want to keep reading. Again, it all just feels very referential to me. Here we have Chiri and Tsunetsuki trying to gain eye contact, but no, Itoshiki Sensei is not biting. It's futile, of course. I've gotten a lot of practice in my life of avoiding eye contact with people. Public displays of affection? Ew, nobody wants to see that. I'm going to keep my eyes averted, of course. I think specifically here as well, these are like siblings? Younger sister, older brother? Yeah, odd. Yeah, I really love this segment. Just love the animation of them constantly trying to avoid eye contact and stuff. Much like a famous boxing champion would, potentially. Weird reference, but I'll go with it. This one, they even translated the references. Oh my god. Okay, so Sensei continues to run away. He comes into a claustrophobic kind of storage room. He finds Kirikomori there, and then we go through a bunch of examples of characters that are also cooped up in storage spaces throughout time and other pieces of fiction. They're written on screen. I don't particularly have any knowledge of any of them, so it's there. Look at it. Very cool. Either way, he has to avoid eye contact with Kirikomori, but of course she's got a bit of a thing for him as well, so she uncovers her eyes specifically so that she could potentially get married. Again, but we still got the judge in the back. I like this guy. Yeah, this is specifically the kind of scene I was talking about before. This feels like something you would set up in a shonen, right? Oh, you think you're escaping, Sensei, but they're actually guarded by experts gathered from dating sites, people that you can't avert your eyes from. Yeah, it's like power scaling or something. It's cool feeling. I like it. Now again, I didn't really get a reference specifically for any of these, but it's giving me Dragon Ball. I don't know why, but it is. Just like shadowy silhouetted figures in the dark that I'll have to fight at some point or another. I'm trying to even think of like other popular shonen at the time. It's not really a Full Metal Alchemist thing. I don't know. If anybody's got something better there for me, you know, I think the silhouettes are very conspicuous, I'll say that. So yes, you may be a pro at avoiding eye contact, Sensei, but these guys are pros at keeping eye contact. Here we have aggressive, thug-looking guys. I just called them like Yakuza guys, because they sound like Yakuza NPCs, where they just kind of yell. And of course, they're looking for a fight, so they want to keep eye contact, and they want to think that you're looking at them funny, so they have a justification to beat you up. That's the joke. That's the joke, everybody. Look, Maida's on TV too, right down in the bottom corner. Very, very cool. I don't know, then another different Yakuza guy shows up and they both maintain eye contact and get engaged. Great visual joke here with the cans behind the minecart. I don't know why they're in a mine, but that's neither here nor there. Obviously a symbol of marriage. These two living a happy homosexual life together. Happily ever after. I did like the one part here where they said that professional soccer players are good at keeping eye contact, because a lot of communication in professional sport is look-based. You would give somebody a look and they would know, they would intuit what you would want from them. But yeah, Furo starts talking about a superior eye contact merchant that's nearby, as it turns out. As I've said a number of times now, it is some kind of horrific beast. As we could see here, 3D eyeball person. Really don't get what's going on here. Maybe it's a reference. Don't know. Either way, ramping up quickly here. We have Chiru. We do a clairvoyance joke. Her name can be the word for clairvoyance in Japanese if extended. I think that's the joke here as well. And yeah, from there it's kind of just wrapping up the episode time. Kind of not much else there. The marriage doesn't go through. Couple good puns. I like the payoff of the Nami joke as well. And again, like I don't know. I don't know what the joke is. That one, it eludes me so very much so. Do like the art style here at the very end. I should search Kazutoshi Soyama. Yeah, no, I don't recognize a single thing that person's made. I digress. Anyway, we've run out of time, unfortunately. We ran out of time 10 minutes ago, but that's neither here nor there. Episodes were good. I had a good time. It's a hard show to talk about. Feels like I'm grasping at straws sometimes to look for things, which is a bad feeling, but it's good. I like watching it, and that's half the battle. Maybe as time goes on, these analysis segments will shrink. We'll see. Either way, having fun. Catch you guys next week for 2 more episodes. Like the video, subscribe, Patreon, link in the description below, and Discord if you want to talk to me about the show. Catch you guys next time. See you later. Goodbye.